I think MC is muted.
Hello, boleh dengar ke?
Baru dengar. Tadi tak dengar.
Tadi tak dengar. Okey, so kita start balik. Okay, let me start again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and a warm welcome to the inaugural session of the Let's Talk About program series for the year 2026. This prestigious webinar series is a strategic collaboration between the Higher Education Leadership Academy, Akept, and Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM. Akept Let's Talk About series is one of the initiatives designed to provide a platform for knowledge exchange, the sharing of best practices and leadership development in higher education, with a focus on national and international trends as well as emerging needs. The program also seeks to promote leadership excellence and support sustainable, high-impact knowledge sharing within the higher education ecosystem. This initiative is aligned with the role of the Ministry of Higher Education, which plays a critical role in advancing societal progress, strengthening social cohesion, and contributing to the nation's intellectual, cultural, and economic development. Before we proceed, we would like to express our deepest appreciation to the head of the program, Professor Dr. Bariah Muhammad Ali, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Industry and Community Partnership Affairs, UKM, and Associate Professor Dr. Atiyah Ahmad Zakwan, Deputy Director, Center for Leadership Sustainability Program, Akept. Under their joint visionary leadership, this six-part series has been designed to foster a closer and more impactful dialogue between academia and the industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to share a few housekeeping rules to ensure a smooth session today, inshallah. Please ensure your microphones are muted throughout the session to avoid any interference. We also highly encourage your participation. If you have any question for our panelists, please type the question into the Q&A box at any time. Our moderator will address them later. An attendance link and feedback form will be shared at the chat box towards the end of this webinar. Also, just a heads up, we are recording this session, so you can revisit it later. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we align our effort with the recently launched Malaysia Higher Blueprint 2026-2035, we are committed to fulfilling the vision to transform our institutions into global powerhouses of innovation. In an era of rapid technological change and intensifying global competition, this webinar series serves as a strategic and reflective platform. Over the next six sessions, we will bring together universities and industry stakeholders to explore the evolving role of higher education. So our focus for today's opening webinar is the role of universities as catalysts of national development, knowledge production, and innovation for economic growth. So throughout this live session, we aim to facilitate a sustained dialogue on how universities can function as drivers of innovation and human capital development while navigating the complexities of the modern industrial landscape. So to lead our discussion on today's webinar, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator. We are very fortunate to have Professor Madya, Dr. Yazrina Yahya as our moderator today. So Dr. Yazrina is the Director of Pusat Permata at Pintar, Negara, UKM, and an Associate Professor at the Faculty of Information Science and Technology, UKM. With her vast experience in both leadership and technology, we are in excellent hands today. So Dr. Yaz, thank you so much for being with us today. So she will be in conversation with our two very distinguished panelists from the industry. First, please welcome Encik Zaki Abdul Aziz Daud, the Chief Executive Officer, E-Idaman Group of Companies. And our second panelist, technologist Dr. Ahmad Khalid bin Khairi, the Chief of Technology and Innovation Officer at Uzma Group. We are truly honored to have such a powerhouse panel with us. So Dr. Yazrina, I know the audience is eager to begin, so the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Maz. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. As Ms. Mas has introduced that we have two renowned speakers, but before I delve a little bit detail about both of them, now allow me to give you an introduction, all right, what this particular session is all about. Now, you've heard the role of universities as catalysts of national development, in which this particular session will actually look on how universities function as engines of economic growth through research, innovation, and knowledge commercialization. I mean, all of us at the universities does research, right? And of course, it is to focus on the generation of new scientific and technological knowledge and to translate those research into marketable products and services. And of course, it adds up to fostering entrepreneurship and startup ecosystem. So basically, from these two speakers that we have this morning, or two panelists, we will explore the mechanisms such as technology transfer, spin-off companies, and then how universities can actually evolve and make things better. Now, with that, allow me to introduce, right, the first panelist, which is Tuan Zaki Abdul Aziz Daud. Now, he has successfully led 1,500 staff and 130 contractors to serve more than 350,000 premises accountable to multiple stakeholders. Right, he has also led Indonesia's biggest listed pharmaceutical distribution company with 830 staff, serving 12,000 outlets across 30 branches in Indonesia. He has also reinforced the company E-Idaman's pillars, resulting in transformation of the group from waste management centric to a resource company and position it as an environment social governance partner. On the other hand, we have another speaker, which is technologist Dr. Ahmad Khalid, who is the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer of Uzma Group, in which he is an alumni of University of Pennsylvania, and he has worked with several multinational companies such as Motorola, Hewlett-Packard, Agilent, and Broadcom, while he continued his master's and also doctoral levels at UUM. Now, he has been with MOSTI, all right, and at the same time, under his tenure as the CEO of Renewable Energy Division, Uzma, he managed to secure its first large-scale solar project and other solar rooftop projects with the capacity of 1,000 megawatt DC. Right, so his current role focuses on aligning technology and innovation with business strategy. So we both have a very good industrial speaker this particular morning. Now, to both the speakers, right, I would like to pose this particular question. I think you've heard how the universities are moving towards the future, all right, in which the Minister of Higher Education has recently launched the Rancangan Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia RPTM 2026 to 2035 and navigates an increasingly complex global economy. Now, from your view, from the industry, all right, how do you see this truly mean for the universities to act not merely as centers of learning, but also as a catalytic forces shaping the national development and economic transformation? So how from your view, what do you feel? How do you see it? If I may address that to Tuan Zaki first.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Waalaikumsalam.
Terima kasih, Professor Madya, and also to MC. And again, thank you for Akept and UKM for inviting me. I'll try my best to speak online. I prefer to actually speak in person in this kind of session. It's a bit awkward. And also I'm a bit handicapped. I don't really have a presentation, but I'll try to talk through all these ideas. And please stop me because I can go on and on and on and on.
Not to worry, not to worry.
Now, number one, actually, the word that you use, the MC actually used, and you also alluded, is actually the transformation. I have always liked this idea of public-private partnership, in a sense, not what is the privatization model as the focus, but it's a public-private partnership involving university, private sectors, government, and whatever stakeholders there could be. And actually we are doing that already. But before we actually go to that thing, I just want to address the question first. To be involved in the transformation and to be relevant in the global market, definitely we actually have to benchmark our universities to the global universities.
Okay.
Because otherwise kita tak maulah short sendiri, minta maaf lah. Boleh bahasa Malaysia boleh juga kan?
Boleh, no problem.
An example, I have 2-3 examples here actually on my own screen. Everybody is aware of Caltech, kan?
Yep.
Institute of Technology. And feel free to actually browse through Caltech and the involvement of industry, because everybody has his own or her own smartphone. So in the high-tech era ni presentation mungkin macam tu lah kan. You just use your AI and just browse through Caltech, California Institute of Technology, and the involvement in the industry. And you will see one item called NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, right? And they actually have the technology transfer, the intellectual property. It's all hebat punya activities lah. The Caltech seed funds. Where are we in this? Now I'm not here to actually because I don't even know macam mana the progress of the respective universities in Malaysia in terms of the collaboration with the private sector and the government. But I think why don't we actually look at what we have in the world now? And jadi the entrepreneurship education support that Caltech is actually having towards industry is actually great. You can talk about robotics and whatsoever lah. Ada tu, if you want to Google, senang sangat nak jumpa. You can actually benchmark against that. The second thing is actually more to our use is you can actually go to, ni nak sebut nama pun payah, Wageningen dekat Holland. Lupa dah, ada 15 tahun, dekat 20 tahun pergi sana. Pergi visit lah, Wageningen. Wageningen. If you go to that university, it doesn't feel like a university actually, because you actually have so many industries within the compound. And again, this browse through, you can use your handphone gun. You take a collaboration with WUR, the food and bio-based research. Food bio-based research, banyak sangat kat situ. How Wageningen ni, excuse my pronunciation,
okay.
They actually dealt with directly the dynamic, the quality-driven food chains and whatnot. You know, they are very, very involved in industry. Now, this is what it is now in the website. You can actually see it. So many food companies are actually involved, and so many, quality monitoring, waste prevention, circular design, the various chain solutions are actually there in terms of the food value chain sampai kepada waste. Macam mana nak reduce waste? Yeah.
Right.
Now this is what they are doing in terms of bringing the industry to them. Yeah? The other way around. It's not bringing the university to industry. Yeah, they bring the industry to them. So that becomes a catalyst. And actually, 20 years ago when I went there, it was actually 2004, 2005. They actually already started outsourcing R&D. We were talking at the time mostly on outsourcing of manufacturing. They already talk about outsourcing of R&D. How they can actually bravely manage all this IP in dealing with so many different entities, yet their name remains to be the reference point. Yeah. Now, the third one is actually very close to our heart and very close to UKM. We actually, E-Idaman, had a very good, successful partnership with UKM.
Right.
And it is actually called Lowering Plastic Impact on the Environment via 5R. It's a very beautiful program there's actually a collaboration between Yayasan Sultanah Bahiyah di bawah di bawah yang terhormat beliau Tunku Temenggung Kedah, yang terhormat beliau Tan Sri Tunku Intan Syafinas. And this program between 21 to 23, we got involved in 150 schools where we collected 264 ton, itu banyak tu, 264 ton of recyclables, using our E-Idaman punya recycling app within a short period involving a number of schools. Now again kan, ni nampak kecil, but it's actually the production of activities yang actually bringing the private sector to the university. It's a very nice way to actually respond to the word catalyst tadi yang dipakai untuk benda tertulis kat sini. So that's my opening. I will get back to all this nanti.
All right. Thank you, Tuan Zaki. Now, go back to Dr. Khalid, right? Because Tuan Zaki has mentioned how important it is for the industry to be involved. But my question to you, right, how do we get, because you come from the industry as well, how do we get the industry people to be interested to work? Because I've seen in certain cases where industry wants to work with the university, but the university is like, especially some universities are like slow dinosaur walking, looking into theories and all that. So how do you get them, Dr. Khalid, based on your particular experience?
So I'm going to dumb it down a bit.
Yeah.
The company or industry typically looking at 3 P's.
Right.
Which stands for profit, people, and planet.
Profit,
so this is profit, people, planet.
Planet, okay.
Planet, environment, earth, or whatever you call it.
Right.
So if this, first, you need to take a look at your research. University produce a lot of research, right? But those research, does it translate into impact? Whether you make any project profitable, increase the efficiencies, or whether, what you call it, impact to the planet or impact to the efficiency of the social. So this thing, university can no longer think about producing research, but has to be produce research that has some impact, right? So this is the first thing that university need to ask. This paper that I produce, what does it mean? Does it help the industry in terms of reducing their costs or improve certain efficiency and whatnot? So this fundamental question need to be, university need to understand this thing. If you at least tick all the marks, industry are more willing to talk to university because of this research can impact these 3 parameters. Another thing that we need to understand is, I'm sure some university have what I call TTO, technology transfer officers.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So what I'm suggesting is, if these people, rather than pretty much on administrative stuff, they need to understand that maybe they understand the IP value, how to create a venture building, how to evaluate, or even create innovative business model for industry to participate. I can give you an example. For example, you can come up with the Internet of Things sensors that can detect our water pump in the sea. Uzma is pretty much oil and gas company, an energy company, that we have some platform in Sabah, Sarawak, and Terengganu. But if you can come up with this solution, rather than providing the solution to industry, hey, UKM has the solution, why don't you buy from us, from UKM? Industry is not going to do that, right? UKM need to have some skin in the game. Why not come to us? I'll demonstrate it for you in the offshore, and if it works, then let's talk about it. So rather than talk to industry, this costs about 100,000 ringgit, why did you buy from us? And then this thing going to solve the problem. I can tell you, Uzma not going to do that, right? So that's one of the areas, innovative. So university have to have some skin in the game. So
Right.
able to demonstrate that has an impact, then of course we're going to explore this, right? So I'm saying that this, another thing is that not in the industry. I think university maybe provide certain incentive to their lecturers or whatever, rather than have what call it, publish papers. I'm not sure if I'm touching some sensitive area here.
You're free to talk. Don't worry, Dr. Khalid. I mean, it's good for the people at the university to actually know. Yeah.
I would rather to see if university reward those lecturers, professors who come up with the prototypes, spin off the companies, and then work with industries, right? So rather than, this high scopus index and whatnot. So to industry, for lack of better word, it means nothing to us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I have to be blunt here, but at least this is what industry is looking at, because those research has to make an impact.
Yeah.
Right. One of the solution, if UKM has some technology, and if rather than we have to prove it to us, right? And then perhaps de-risk the thing, maybe co-funding between Uzma and UKM. So because Uzma not going to take 100% risk, whatever technology been developed by universities. So I think I touched a little bit on some of the concepts or area that perhaps university can take a look at. Yeah.
I think I do agree with you, Dr. Khalid. Partly it's because, being academics or researchers, we only know how to do the research, but to do the marketing is another level, all right? So most of the time that I've seen it, my friends, who goes out there, their work is really, really good, yeah? But when they really go to the industry, like you're saying, okay, this is going to cost this. And then people go like, oh, okay, right? So it is another skill that I believe the university has to put to the researchers in order for them to actually market. I don't know whether Tuan Zaki would agree with that, because you have the experience working with UKM. If you could share, how was your successful, venture with UKM a little bit? How did it start, so that the audience, whoever researchers or officers were there to listen would be able to get the, some background stories basically that they can use as an example?
It was actually a simple, I don't know what they call it, research or not, but it's actually more of a real social activity where basically we want to make an impact to the public,
Right.
especially on the rural area, I think. And we want to actually bring this agenda of environment, because there's a lot of waste.
Right.
Since I'm from the waste industry, every day we actually about close to 40,000 tons of waste produced by you, me, and everybody. Yeah, and household waste is 40,000 tons. That is 40 million kilogram lah. So the problem is that we can actually reduce this waste from going to the landfill, because when it goes to the landfill, then it rusak bumi ni. Yeah. So one of the ways is actually get rid of the plastics, get rid of the used cooking oil, and from there we have already started kita punya program anyway dekat E-Idaman. So we tag along very well with the program of Yayasan Sultan Madya as well as UKM, and they actually have the data of the universe, the public. So we tag along, and nicely we create programs. The worth of the whole thing is not much, but the value and that is actually created from that, the kesedaran, the awareness is actually huge. And that's actually something that to me should be pursued further by UKM and us. Now, but again, I just want to actually bring back the attention of everybody to Wageningen University, where basically, if you look at it, they actually very focused on healthcare and food industry.
Okay.
Now, kadang-kadang ada macam-macam faculties kan dekat university, right? Now, this could be something yang mungkin Akept as well as other UKM and other university can think about. Within the next 10 years, katakan, if you want to be competitive, which university should take which field or discipline? Is it something that is thinkable or doable or planned out? Contoh, UKM could be focusing on food ataupun biotech ataupun whatever, and then another university could be focusing on whatever other industries. But that is the real true and true punya, apa namanya, R&D and C punya lah.
Right.
We have another example, Korea Advanced Nanotech Center in Korea, which again I visited in 2004, but 2005 juga masa itu. They actually facilitated clean room, high-end clean room for all these wafer companies at that time to do their punya production in that place. Imagine it's a contribution of universities, public sector, government, federal, state, as well as private sector. These are the things yang sebenarnya saya sangat-sangat nak tengok. I think it's happening. Cuma takutnya fokusnya tu kadang-kadang satu orangnya berubah, bertukar-tukar. Kan? Jadi bila nak buat agenda, macam corporate ni dia ada macam tadilah apa namanya TS Ahmad Khalid cakap, Dr. Ahmad Khalid cakap, kita ada profit driven. So kita nak justify bukannya 1 tahun, kita nak buat 10 tahun business plan. What about university punya business plan?
Okay.
Kan? So business plan for university kena berdasarkan plan yang besar or master plan to actually make it happen lah. Nah, katakan sekarang kita nak bergerak dekat waste management. What part of waste management that we can enhance further? What we have done. One of the product of UKM dengan collaboration dengan YSB is actually a syllabus. Ada buku tu. Macam mana pada waktu sekolah rendah, ada modul macam mana nak ajar students ni supaya belajar separation at source.
Oh, that's really good.
You have it in UKM.
Really good.
Yeah. Tapi tak tahulah jadi implement ke tidak macam mana. It was a great project actually. So I hope to see more of this happening.
Okay. Now, because I believe in that, on the side note, I do agree when, the projects gives an impact. I think that's the most important thing. How I see it is actually the industry and the universities has to work a win-win situation. The words that I heard was from the both of you are impact, right? Basically, it has to impact the industry, meaning that if you want to do the partnership, it has to give values to the industry. For the universities, there's a lot of values that they can actually take up. When it's a good research, there'll be publications like Tuan Zaki kata, meaning that publications is very much like Dr. Khalid says, it's for the academics, because that's where your promotion comes in. But at the same time, the values that both institutions, the industry and the universities, needs to be the same. And I like the fact that when Dr. Khalid cakap that profit, people and planet. Because at the end of the day, as you know, when we move forward, the younger generations are very much in concern with what's going on in the planet or to the planet. So this is something that perhaps the university can do. And at the same time, I also like what Tuan Zaki reiterate, 10 years future ahead. So perhaps this would go to the leaders, right? Because I'm going to go into the next question, to the leaders of the university. That how do they plan? Because if you see, kalau Tuan Zaki and Dr. Khalid notice, the universities, there's a lot of public universities, private universities, all of them wants to do medical school, all of them wants to do, a lot of things. That they want to become a comprehensive university and research from banyak institute and whatnot. So perhaps, the idea of getting each university to focus, although we can see like UUM focus on management, right? And then we do see UMP, the technical universities focus on IT and engineering. And then there are the research universities that's supposed to, now we do have like 6 research universities, at least if they can come up with good 10-year ahead strategic plan of which would be the core area. I think that would be very good. Now, so that's the first question to the panelists. Now, because we were talking along the lines of how universities can go about, and all of this actually related to leadership, all right? Because I always believe for a university to be successful, leaders who are appointed plays very, very important role. Not only the Vice Chancellor, but also the downliners up until the director, up to the deans of the school. Now, my question to both panelists is that as we look ahead to 2026, what are the most critical leadership shift, okay, university leaders must make to transform universities from being primarily knowledge producers into agile innovation hubs that drive national economic growth and resilience? Because it's not easy. And you know, at the university, yeah, to the both panelists, they consist of smart people who has all this, you know, PhDs, whatever lah, TSGS, IR, whatsoever, all that long thing, title thing, right? So it's not easy. So how would you suggest? If I can go to Dr. Khalid first.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. So first thing, perhaps we look at the leaders of university, align what is national and industry priorities are, right? So this is what are the national agenda team primarily addressed in RMK 13. What are the priorities of the national that have been laid out, and industry priorities. For example, people are talking about what? AI, right?
Yep.
People talk about AI. When we talk about AI, people normally talk about the application of it. I just want to highlight the fundamental of AI. Pretty much we have five layers of AI. First, you need an energy.
Yep.
Right? This energy segment, which is, it could be renewable, it could be fossil fuel, but AI needs to be powered by this thing, right? That's energy. Second layer is what we call it IC, or semiconductor. This is part, pretty much what NVIDIA is playing, all this AMD is playing. So this is semiconductor that even Malaysia come up with what we call it national semiconductor roadmap, where we want to become the key players. The third layer is what we call it the infrastructures, the cloud. So this is why data centers need to be set up. I'm sure we are about 3 to 5 data centers currently in the pipeline that currently built either in Cyber and Johor. The fourth layer is what do you call it? The large the models, the AI models that we want familiar with, ChatGPT, Cloud, Anthropic, and whatnot. And then the last layer is the application of it, the agentic AI, all these things. So all these 5 elements, university can play a role to play. For example, the renewable energy segment, I know UKM have what do you call it, the study program and whatnot, green hydrogen, the semiconductors, university can play around into. I think we are moving into what do you call it, high value added activities like ARM chips. So university should be able to train the graduates to design the chips. As a matter of fact, one in Selangor is paying what do you call it, fresh grad entry salary up to 7,000 ringgit, right, for fresh grad. So that's a high value added job, very critical job, and of course the AI and whatnot. So this is what application of it. So this type of research university need to align their thing so that what industry needs and whatnot. And for example, I can give you an example of the private university in Malaysia. I think they changed business, what they call business school. They incorporate what they call becoming business analytics school. So they incorporate R language, Python. So students able to have those analytics embedded in their curriculum. So this type of modular adaptability, moving towards what industry needs, country needs. This perhaps as a leadership from university, like especially what they call it, the VC, the TNC, able to craft and make this modular engagement with students so that the graduates becoming more valuable lah. So I just want to add that maybe university need to perhaps think the different mindset. Instead of creating job seekers,
Yeah.
need to create job creators,
Yeah.
right? People graduate that able to create more jobs. You understand what I'm saying? The mantra, we need to change the graduates that come out from UKM will create more jobs.
Yeah.
So that I think that's the mind shift that I think we should have that paradigm shift.
Okay. I'll get back to you on that, creating jobs, because it's not, it's something that all of us hope, because at the end of the day, which is true, that most of our graduates, particularly undergraduate, when they go out there, at the end of the day, they'll be looking for jobs instead of creating a job for themselves. But I'll get back to you on that, all right? But what I hear from you related to the leadership is actually the leaders should definitely they are looking into the national and in what the industry, the national plan, right? The RMK, basically, I think, because that's where I believe the leadership of the universities should align their strategic plan, particularly. And of course, then to look at the industries that's involved so that, talk can begin. I also like the idea when you mentioned about AI, because everyone is moving. And if you look at the university program, AI is like cendawan tumbuh. Everyone wants to hop on AI at the moment. But then what kind of AI, which level that they are really focusing? Because most of the time, it would be much towards the application. But then, now, there's some parts of what you've mentioned also, the university's mindset that needs to change, because we are the longest living education system that we have. I mean, in the world, yeah. It went way back dulu. So somehow it evolved, but kalau you tanya the academies, they would say, we got to go on theory first to be able, the students to be able to understand the fundamentals. So that takes time. But we'll get back to that later. Now, Tuan Zaki, I will track you back into the leadership, because it's always very, very important, all right, for the university to have the right leaders with the right mindset. And what more, kalau we want to go on Agile Innovation Hub, the word is so beautiful, but to execute it, it's really difficult. How do you, if you're going to be appointed as a VC, let's say, or the both of you, right? How are you going to push these people? What are the things that you would do actually?
Actually, we are quite in regular communication with university daripada VC, timbalan VC dan juga lecturers. Kita ada banyak aktiviti dengan UNIMAP, dengan UUM dan ada universities, Finisham dan UITM, ada banyak lagi lah yang kita terlibat. And we actually have ongoing programs, and I'm personally enjoying this because this is exactly what I want to do.
Right.
And during the discussions and during the meetings or during the group punya discussions lah, what normally kita become enlightened is when we talk about value chain.
Okay.
Example, waste generation, it gets transported to the bins kita kat depan rumah, transported to wherever the destination. Sometimes we stop by the recycling places. In other places, dekat other country, dia ada incinerator, kan? So this is among the value chain yang kadang-kadang kita discuss lah. Along the value chain ni ada banyak value creation yang boleh dibuat kalau betul-betul kita nak go further lah. Now this is where I think biasanya when we have this dialogue, we actually have this enriching the opportunity to enrich the presence of the university. And
Right.
this is where the leadership sebenarnya is taking place, and I'm happy to note it's happening. Yeah. And sebenarnya semua semangat ni. Jadi but what I'm seeing itu je lah tadi patah balik boleh cakap tadi tu, nak ke mana which university tu, kan? So for example lah, katakan kita nak buat waste to energy, right? What we have now is actually technology from countries overseas.
Yeah.
the study done is probably study done by consultants to suit the technology, to suit the problem. The problem statement is the waste is going to landfill, right? What is the involvement of university? How would the leaders of the university take advantage of the 40,000 ton a day problem of waste in the country?
Right.
Yeah. Now that is waste. What about food security? What about food processing? What about production of proton punya EV ke apa semua macam tu? What about the sustainability of battery recycling or battery to be disposed of at a later stage? Ni siapa ni nak buat ni? The way I see it is actually the university will have to trigger money. Like I said tadi, bring the private sector to the universities. I always value that because of simple thing. Zaman dulu, center of education ialah university.
Betul.
Dan kenapa sekarang consultants become the center of attention?
That's a good question.
Sebabnya ialah the consultants have acquired data and analysis much faster and more focused than mungkin the team of academics. Contohnya lah.
Yeah.
But does that mean that you actually have to be left behind all the time? Tak. I think you should be using us ni to go further. Yeah, so there's nothing to everybody ada kelemahan kan, tapi everybody pun ada kekuatan. The team that we have, the professors that we have are solid. Seriously. In fact, the presentation semuanya solid. Cuma sekarang ni macam mana nak fit in nicely into the value chain. Don't lose this opportunity. We have a lot of problems in the country for the professors to get involved. Just don't leave us behind lah. We want to be part of it.
Right.
Drive it from the university.
Right. So basically what you're saying to us, Zaki, number one, again, we look at the planet, okay? The issues are actually centered around our everyday life, whether, it's about food chain, whether it's about impact of the electronic cars, sustainability, it's all what's going on in the world at the moment. But it's how the university sees those problems, right, basically, and then push it further, capitalize whatever resources that they have, the professors particularly, right, to work with the industry, right? So that's one way to go about it. And I also like the idea of, whoever sits at the top, actually the leaders, particularly those in charge of research and innovation, all right? And of course, the jaringan industry, because these two are the ones that actually is very, very important to lead the research work with the industry, particularly, right? They really have to actually sit down together to see how to go about this particular matter. And I also like the fact when you mentioned about consultant, right? We do, in fact, we know a lot of the work, research work, like you say, consultants are doing it. Padahal the university people, the professors, they also have the tools, they also have the capabilities and ability and skills, right, competencies to actually do the research work like the consultant. It's just that you've got the word right in which consultant does it faster than us, the academics, right? Perhaps that's something that we need to look into the ecosystem of the university, right, in which sebab kami ni, saya baru nak cakap tadi, we are jack of all trades at the end of the day. We are the teachers, you can call it. We are the researchers. We are banyak benda yang kita buat. So bila academics is overwhelmed with so many things, then it becomes susahlah cair, it diluted basically. But that's something also I think the leaders of the universities needs to really look, because at the end of the day, that also relates to the promotion, because we know, although I don't touch upon on the leadership, this is what I would call a chain reaction at the end of the day, kind of chain reaction. Because not everyone, like Tuan Zaki or Dr. Khalid, we do it, of course, we want to see the impact. We do it because we want the world to be better. But there must be values, or there must be the win-win situation. So some people, to them, it's the what we call self-satisfaction. Some to them is about promotion, particularly. So the whole ecosystem, the leaders, I would reckon, whoever is listening out there, You know, when you become the leader, you really need to look at this whole ecosystem. Right, now, I'm going to go into the next area, okay, because we are at 10:46, not too bad. And let me see, I don't think we do have any, question? All right, there is a question, okay, from Ms. Duratul Ain. She's asking how to attract the industry people, okay? Because I know, I'm from the IT school, like Ms. Mas was saying, you know, we've got good research work. And then bila jumpa industry people, itulah yang Dr. Khalid cakap tadi. We must know how to go the lingo of the industry. Because research will impact, because this is from Ms. Durato, research will impact tech transfer, IP value, evaluation, and all that. What about IoT as a solution? But number one, the question is how to attract the industry people, basically. How does the academics actually, or even the deputy dean of Jaringan goes to you guys and have this conversation? Because we do have very young, you know, not only seniors, and kind of young leaders, basically. How do you reckon them to go about it?
If I may,
Yes.
answer this.
Yes, you may.
Okay. First, I think couple of things the lecturers or universities need to understand is commercial mindset is a must.
Okay.
First thing, because you need to understand when you talk about commercial mindset is when you want to have product or services, technology that been come up with. So how do you entice the industry, meaning that you might want to think about innovative business model, for example, how to de-risk some of the products that you created, but not sure it's going to work. So all these things need to be understandable, how to de-risk, so that at least industry, okay, in terms of this thing doesn't work, I don't have to pay, right? So that kind of innovative business model, university, you need to understand how to have that skin in the game, right? Then becoming more attractive to industry to talk, because if you talk about this thing and then it's going to cost us 500,000, we're not going to pay. For sure, we're not going to pay, right? It's not proven, and I think maybe you still at what TRL level 1, 3, or 4, which is a bit cost heavy for us to invest to make it to 7 and above, right? And another thing is we talk about speed, right? Speed is industry work in months, right? University works in years. So that's, you need to align in terms of timeliness and readiness, right? Some of the contract that we have, for example, oil and gas, we have to produce the work for Petronas for within 6 months, right? So if university say, hey, I can come up with a solution and it's going to take us 10 months or 1 year, it's not going to work for us, right? So this type of timeliness, readiness, speediness, this is something university needs to think about, right? If you can address this, have what do you call it, this criteria, whether it's, am I fast enough? That I think that reason Zaki mentioned about the reason industry prefer consultant, even though we're gonna pay more, because we ask the proposal tomorrow sell, right? So what we want today, they can deliver yesterday. So that kind of mentality of consultants given. So I don't know how university needs to have that mind shape, this thing, because I'm sure you can do it, because once the government reduce some allocation budget for some reason, you can come up with many ideas how to sustain, right? So I'm sure the similar mindset can be done here in terms of survival mode. I just want to give an example. Petronas, I mean, the biggest company in Malaysia, right? How they lay off 10,000 people,
right?
This year. I mean, last year, right? You know what Tengku Taufik mentioned in this when he announced it? if we don't do this, Petronas will not survive for the next 10 years.
Yep.
Right? That's how cautionary tale is happening to the industry. So I think this is how we need to understand how dire the situation is, how we need to adapt quickly, how we need to change and move fast quickly.
Okay. All right. Tuan Zaki, anything from you in terms of, because I know Dr. Khalid mentioned, Petronas, even MES, they took that leap to actually let go of people, basically. But the university, one of the things that has been, what I would say, a little bit difficult or tough is because all of us are government officers. To cut short or to kamikaze someone is not that easy. Particularly, they will go through various process and at the end of the day, masuk balik dalam sistem. All right, so it's something that's impossible unless we are private universities, and that's something that we can do. But again, to change that mindset is, of course, it's not easy either. And I like the fact commercial mindset is a must. So perhaps this is where all the unit training units at the university should actually look, how can you transform, not all, but perhaps a few people from the academics to have that commercial mindset and to be able to sell or to be able to talk. I think each faculty should have dia punya strong people. But Tuan Zaki, what would be your take on that matter?
Probably one person will only be staying in the university 4 years, 5 years before going to the industry.
Yeah.
Kalaupun dia nak buat PhD mungkin lama, tapi lepas tu mungkin ke industri juga. Kan? So, sekarang ni isunya ialah bukannya kita nak jadikan university consultant. Tak.
Okay.
Isunya ialah what is it that the consultant has that makes him or her beautiful and we want to listen more. It's data. The data they have more. So, where's the data in the university sekarang ni? And how is it compared to the relevance of the data that they have compared to the relevance of data that the other parties have? Again, the center of excellence should be university to me. Now, to enrich you punya database lah, probably a university needs to marry with an international punya ada university. Ada banyak tu collaboration dengan ada global universities kan. But tapi again the focus dia tadi punya I'm quite laser focus lah in terms of the approach. The approach should be first of all which university to do what specific specialization, and then after that try to develop data. So then there is something that the industry look into. Yeah. Again, kalau tidak nanti we try to actually selling something tapi lepas that person, the salesperson, the sales whatever it is dapat manage to actually sell, that person akan hilang dari university.
Dia be industry.
So you see the motive there is actually the individual then. Padahal sebenarnya the whole university concept is, again as I said before lah, library. People come to the university or to center of education for education. Dulu orang belajar pakai buku kan, sekarang tak ada buku. But it doesn't mean kita tak ada library. Ada. It's just the structure of how we actually structure the knowledge semuanya. Yeah. Jadi again, to me, how you enrich your presence using the data, and the data must be stronger, and must be very relevant and up to date, and something that's worth a lot. Right. Contohnya lah kalau kita nak pergi ke Uzma, silap-silap you ada diver sendiri yang boleh tahu dekat mana nak bersihkan subsurface punya maintenance, and boleh jadi the data actually comes from a university, not necessarily UTP. This kind of data is very, very powerful that even any consultant will actually come to you to buy the data. You see, any example dia lah. So study the value chain dekat mana nak university to be present.
Right. Okay. Now, I like the fact that when you mentioned about data, okay, maknanya, but I am still wondering how did the consultants actually get the data faster than the university? Are you trying to say that the university does not have enough engine power, to get data as fast compared to the consultants? But I like also the point that in order to get data, you provide that solution is for us to work with other universities that perhaps would have that kind of strength. But is there any other way? I mean, I cannot see how, or maybe the public or the university would need to learn how for us to be pushed further. Lebih
It's,
lagi lah.
it's practically difficult, but the commercial has gone to the consultants.
Right.
Jadi apapun juga, the consultants will get the upper hand.
Okay.
But again, it doesn't mean that all is lost. You can actually create something. Provided, again, what is your 10-year plan? What relevance you want to have?
Okay. All right. Dr. Khalid, do you have any suggestions on how, if you're going to go on the data mode, right?
For
yeah.
example, I can give some specific example. Uzma has our own satellite, right? Uzma Sat-1. So we launched our own satellite, as a matter of fact, last year. And the idea is to provide geospatial image analytics to the client so that they can have better decision making for agriculture, landslide, or whatever, right? So what the data, of course, reside with Uzma, right? So what I'm saying is, if UKM, for example, can demonstrate that using whatever existing open data images that they have, then demonstrate because of this open data, I can add analytics to it, and then demonstrate to Uzma by having this analytics or AI engine built on these images, we can do this, right? Hence, it's making Uzma attracted to UKM,
right?
Because you able to do these images, and then we are willing to give our images to UKM.
Okay.
So that time, because at the but UKM need to come up with some kind of prototype using the existing open source data, for example, right? To demonstrate that this is what we can do. So this hence entice us to collaborate more with UKM,
right?
Because the what do you call it, the analytics, the intelligence that you build inside those images, make it as more what do you call it, becoming more useful, and the intelligence built by UKM can be commercialized.
Right.
So that again, as I mentioned again previously, commercial mindset from university need to have this what do you call it, develop a prototype and start what do you call it, marketing to these people who have like satellite images or those things. Hey, I can do more with these satellite images. So that make us come to you, what do you call it, pepatah orang putih, what do you call it, moss come to the flames.
Yeah.
Right. So
right.
That's what university can do, right? So we becoming more, we are attracted to you, right? So that's one simple example that I can.
So basically, it's for the university people. Number one is to know which industry that you really want to work with, right? And then look at their values and how they go about things and what are their future plans that they want to do. And then if you want to get data, then find industries that has the data, particularly to help and see how both of you can work together. Not that easy, but can be done, like Tuan Zaki cakap. Now, we do have a statement from Zaini Haryati Muhammad Zain. She said, lecturers have the speed and brain, and our commitments are more focused on teaching and learning. Commitment as well, hence industry need to also lingo in our into our pace. Sinergi antara akademik bersama industri penting dalam pembangunan kapasiti anak tempatan untuk pembangunan dan kemajuan negara. But this is when I know from the industry point of view is always about the commercial mindset, the win-win situation for the both. But then again, like I told you early on, when academics, all right, or researchers at the university, they wear a lot of hats. Okay, wear a lot of hats, particularly those leading research work. They are also academics who teach. They are also academics who supervise. They are also required to write and all that. I think this is what Zaini Haryati was saying, that some are more focused towards teaching and learning instead of doing research. But do you have any comments from Dr. Khalid and Tuan Zaki about this particular statement?
Passion.
Passion?
Passion. We need to have passion. We cannot change a person's punya passion. If
Yep.
dia punya focus of dia punya passion is actually on teaching, that's good. Teruskan. Tapi
Right.
di dalam universiti itu pun ada juga yang passionate pasal waste management.
Yeah.
This is what I noticed personally. Yeah.
Okay.
Jadi, you know, when they are given the chance to actually interact with us, you can see dia punya semangat tu. So that's where the whole thing starts lah biasanya. So I agree with the statement, tapi it doesn't mean that is actually menutup kemungkinan untuk orang-orang terlibat dalam industri. Artinya ramai nak duduk lagi dalam universiti tapi terlibat dengan industri. Ramai.
Ramai.
I see that actually.
Yeah. Dr. Khalid, anything from you on this particular statement by Zaini Haryati?
I'm gonna a bit slightly naughty statement here.
Okay, no problem.
What if we change the incentive that the lecturers need to start a startup company? And in order, and the startup company need to generate at least 1 million ringgit, 2 million ringgit. If you able to do that, then you can be promoted to full prof.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? If you to change that incentive and motivation, you think how many lecturers will like to do that?
I can't answer that.
Exactly. What I'm saying is about behavior is determined by incentive.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not saying that it's obviously it's not my thing to say here. Depending how we design those incentive, and then you can definitely motivate. I think Prof Yazrina, you learn economics, right?
Yeah.
All the behaviors react to incentive.
Yeah.
Right. So if the incentive being curated, aligned to industry, to nation building, I'm sure we can do wonders, right? For example, if maybe reducing the publication a bit in the expense of reducing publication, or even reduce the teaching in class, right? So I'm not saying this is an ideal solution, but if the incentive being crafted to what do you call it, determine the behavior of the academic industry and align and work with industry, I think this can be done, right?
Yeah. I mean, which is true. It is a typical human behavior. We work on incentive, whatever incentive that is. Some people work on the incentive of lillahi ta'ala. You know, some people work on the incentive of self-satisfaction. Some work for promotion, like I told you. So basically, I like the idea when you say tweak a little bit on the incentive. Yeah, and I think the universities, most universities are actually aligned. They did that. Kita ada track untuk naik pangkat promotion for academics, particularly in which if you focus so much on teaching and learning, then that would be your forte. You're going to be evaluated on that. All right. I think that's in terms of what I would say structure, it's already there. Okay? And if you're good in research, of course, but we have yet to have those. If you can have a startup, all right, that can push the people further. But before, I believe the university also needs to look into in which, in strategic, particularly those who comes from human resources department, to actually look before you put that particular, like what Dr. Khalid was saying, to do a startup, generate 1 million, you must make sure there are people who are already trained with the skills a little bit. If not, everyone is going to go like, that's it lah, kita tak boleh capai, tak naik pangkat lah kita. Okay, but that's a good idea. But of course, like Ms. Zaini Haryati was saying, she is also very much involved in research and commercialization, which is good. We do have academics who actually focus on research, some focus on teaching and all that. Now,
if I may, Dr. Yazrina.
Yes, you may.
You have a secret weapon sebenarnya.
Okay.
You have plenty of IPs.
Right.
Right. This is what you call these IPs can be commercialized. I mean, because university hold these IPs. So this what we call it. You have a one leg up from other people outside outside the universities, because you have that proprietary technology, ideas, novelty.
Yeah.
So this is something which we can up the incentive a bit. I'm sure these lecturer, professors, Professor Madya, associate professors, if you put some pre-seed fund, come up with syarikat formula of startup, and I don't know, generate, contribute to the industry. This is becoming a technology producer instead of technology consumer.
Yeah.
So this is something I think university, you have plenty of secret weapons in the arsenal. So depending how motivated you are to use these what I call it, these weapons.
I do agree. Yeah, researchers has a lot of IPs. They've done a lot of things. It's just bringing it up, either to collaborate with the industry, all right, or to find the industry to be interested. I think that's most important. Yeah. Now, if I may go to the next area, which is the targeted areas, basically. Now, how can the university, because along this particular talk, all right, we have already mentioned the word entrepreneurship. And like you say, if you want to do a startup, meaning you've got to be an entrepreneur. But how can universities play a stronger role in building startup ecosystem beyond incubators? Because I know that UKM itself, we do have incubators. Other universities also have their own incubators. So how do we build a stronger role beyond incubators and pitching programs, so that more university innovation becomes sustainable and scalable businesses? How do you think that we can go about? Tuan Zaki, if you may.
Susah jawapan dia.
It's not easy, betul. Memang susah.
Because for you to work with us, dia akan patah balik kita nak profit motive, right? Atau kalau tidak jadi CSR. CSR probably just a small thing, right? Jadi try not to get to CSR.
Right. Wait, Tuan Zaki, we seem to lose you. Wait, hold on. Okay. Tuan Zaki, we can't seem to hear you.
Ya, jadi macam mana kita ni nak university ni nak sorry, there's a internet connection unstable gitu punya ni.
Yeah, there was a lag behind. If you can just go back a little bit.
So apa namanya? I lost my track. Yeah.
Never mind. Start out.
Dia macam ni, apa namanya? How is it that company ni dia ada profitability, right?
Yep, betul.
We know that and we cannot change that. Kalau tak company dan bukan profitable kan. Now, jadi jangan sampai dia masuk ke dalam budget CSR.
Okay.
Right? Once you actually aim the CSR of company, then your motivation goes down. Now, to prepare for that though, you really have to be equipped with arsenals or whatsoever. Yeah. What is the value yang you nak contribute? Nah, ini the dialogue that has to take place. To me lah. Dan sebab kalau tidak, ya jadi macam tak syok lah kalau misalnya dia orang tak nak terima kita. Mesti nak terima punya, asalkan ada value adding. Data cukup banyak dekat company. Banyak. So many data. What do you want to do with data?
Right.
And how can we benefit together? And sila-sila AI company datang, I take all your data. Padahal sebenarnya benda tu patutnya boleh dibuat oleh universiti. Contoh. Kan? Nah, these are the things yang barikan nanti lepas ni tiba-tiba datang pula UKM ke saya tengok, boleh tak saya tengok data. The point ialah where you need to also understand kita punya the private sector that you target tu dia nak apa.
Right.
Kalau misalnya sesuai dengan kekuatan dalam universiti itu sendiri, that's perfect. Tapi kalau misalnya dalam faculty itu tak ada yang strengthen the proposition, then you will be having a tough time to sell the idea even to your board of university. Good. Yeah. Now, this is where again, to me, it has to be a total ecosystem Dan the last thing yang we want to actually do is actually katakan you dapat satu teknologi and you ask us to actually check is this okay ke tidak. I think that's not a good thing to do sebab memang bagus. Tapi sayangnya jadi macam kita ni nak promote external parties punya teknologi pula to validate kan. Padahal sebenarnya that technology is something that you can develop yourself rather than you introduce to us that technology. Contoh lah. So all these things jangan sampai pada waktu you do the selling, the mindset of private sector is they want our CSR. Create a catalyst, become a catalyst so that the mindset is I want to contribute to your profitability. And you have the power. Seriously, you have, because ramai yang passionate sebenarnya, based on my observation.
I think I like the idea. It's again going back to the academics, particularly researcher, that when they go in the meetings with the industry people to put themselves, how can they actually assist the industry? And like you say, industry will always look on profit. Industry will also look on their values, basically, what they are targeting. So that's something that skills, perhaps the academics must have. Particularly those who are interested in doing into this startup ecosystem. Dr. Khalid, what would be your take? How can the university goes beyond the incubators and pitching programs, particularly?
One area that we can explore is, I think perhaps you already have this program, joint development program. For example, if you have some technology, for example, I don't know, green hydrogen, for example, UKM has some proprietary technology converting this water to become hydrogen, for example. But we need industry to come in so that we can develop, commercialize it or scale up. But industry perhaps, like Uzma, perhaps gonna counter the argument is yes, we can come in, but I put it 1 million, you need to put it 1 million. So that kind of skin in the game for the joint development will help. How UKM gonna come up with that money? That one, I'm sure you have various channels to get is seed fund or whatever you can get from KPT and whatnot. So this type of de-risking activities will entice the industry to work with universities, right? So if it kind of move up from incubator period to becoming core joint development so that we can come up with a workable prototype or commercialize it. And then, of course, we can explore market access. Uzma has some presence in Thailand, Indonesia, and Philippines. So if this green hydrogen is viable, for example, and you can also need to, university in general, need to come up with how you can institutionalize this program to able to support the scale, right? How, if you want to go scale, you want to go bigger, it's a bit challenging for Uzma to cover most of the costs, for example. So this time, again, I'm saying it, this is what universities need to think about it. I think Stanford, I think Zaki has mentioned, university have done quite a few innovative engagement in the foreign university. So maybe this is something private, I will call it IPTA. IPTA need to come up with this, some model. Maybe you already have it, but you need to, for lack of better word, wawarkan kepada industri how that you have this thing available, and we can come and see universities, UKM, for example, to have more, what do you call it, discussion on this.
Yeah, I think I like the idea, of course, at the university level, we already have the kind of joint collaboration. Ada banyak, ataupun ada some universities ada banyak, ada yang tidak. And again, that one would relate to definitely to the memorandum of agreement. You know, how much you're contributing, the other party is contributing, and then what are the outcomes, impact, and all that, right? The model is already there. But I think what drives the model to be successful or to be implemented more would definitely relate back to the leadership and the strategic plan where the university puts. And that leads to what Tuan Zaki was saying just now, you know, where the university wants to be or what they want to be in terms of research. And then that also relates, because this is the whole ecosystem, it relates to the jaringan with the industry. Because often, at the university, sometimes people work in silo. Yeah, the jaringan works. They go and touch point with you guys and whatnot. But when they bring back to the faculty, it might not work because the person who went was not the person who is on the ground, basically. So relatively, I would say also what Dr. Khalid and Tuan Zaki has mentioned earlier on, the strategic plan where the university wants to be is very, very important. Yeah. Now, I've got another question, not from the public, but from myself, but from your experience, because both of you are from the industry, very good company, right? Now, based on your experience leading large industry organizations, what would be the top 3 changes Malaysian universities must prioritize this year, okay, to accelerate research commercialization and become stronger catalysts? What are the top 3 changes that you see? Based on your observation, tak kisahlah how well you know the university ke tidak, but what would you think based on your knowledge, the 3 changes, top changes that they must prioritize? Tuan Zaki?
Okay, saya ke Tuan Zaki?
Okay, Dr. Khalid dah mention, dah dengar suara, Dr. Khalid boleh cakap dulu.
Okay. Okay, the 3 changes, my wish list lah, my wish list. If university has what you call it, professionalism in terms of commercialization capability, right? Because some of the technology transfer office, for example, need to well equip how you market this IP, how you engage the industry, how you evaluate this thing, so how you de-risk some of the projects. So this need to, for lack of a better word, we don't want clerical works at TTO department, right? So have that professionalism in terms of commercialization punya mindset and capability. And university, I mentioned previously, if you tweak the incentive within university, a lot of things can be changed. Right? I'm sure if you provide incentive, for example, sabbatical professors, attach 1 year to Uzma, come up with the solution, because gaji we don't need to pay, correct?
Yep.
University is paying the salary to that professors, but university attached to the industry for 1 year, come up with this innovative solution instead of professor do some sabbatical in overseas. You know what they what lah, right? if you know what I mean. So this is okay. So that's I mentioned about commercialization. I'm talking about tweak the incentive a bit, which I know it's going to be quite difficult. And another thing is institutionalize university to create something, come up with the, rather than MOU or whatever, maybe build some joint labs, co-funded some of the project, make a long-term test bed for industry to test or to work. This is perhaps some of the university have done. So I think this is kind of my 3 wish list if university can do.
All right, so I reiterate, commercialization, tweak into the university's promotion kind of thing, and then institutionalize, all right, of the particular model, of collaboration where you can do joint labs or co-funded projects and all that. Cool. Now, Tuan Zaki, what would be your take on the 3 top changes that the university has to do?
Number one is the stronger industry linkages lah. I started dengan examples overseas tadi kan, which already are happening in Malaysia anyway. Tapi the presence have to be made known. Kalau betul ada, has to be made stronger.
Right.
Jadi katakan ada collaboration antara UKM dengan Uzma lah katakan. Make it known that it is something to be proud of. The country should be proud of, and it's actually a focused effort together.
Right.
And therefore it becomes a reference point not only for Malaysia but also for Southeast Asia at least. And it's actually good for the university anyway, and to go up dia punya rank lah. So and also it's actually good for the faculty and for the students. I mean the lecturers and the students alike. Semua dia akan bangga. Once we actually have that mindset shift on the value adding contribution, it's going to be a big difference. Which then lead to the second item, which is actually, do we go for process ataupun outcome?
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to focus on process, ada dia punya kelebihan-kelebihannya, tapi kalau outcome ada kelebihan-kelebihannya. Which one? Nah, boleh jadi again dari segi manufacturing mungkin you akan nampak process is actually one thing, but again kalau you focus on outcome, what is to be delivered, whether it's actually a manufacturing or not, it's the same thing. It's outcome delivery. The way of outcome is actually the single thing. Jadi jangan terlampau whatever that's actually in the theory for 20 years cannot be changed. Right. Now we actually have AI that can actually do presentation for you within 2 minutes.
Oh yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, we have lost all the the luxury of time, which actually leads to the number 3 lah.
Right.
Speed and agility. How can we make use of the latest AI ni? I think banyak benda. Bukanlah saya nak cerita mengenai meniru whatever things. Pada waktu zaman kami susah nak meniru kot. Kecuali kalau kita punya examination room tu bentuk yang boleh senang nak meniru kan. I think sekarang you masuk AI senang dah dapat jawapan kan, nak buat paper kan. So,
sangat mudah.
But the point is actually there's so much information in the world, so much to the extent that you actually do not know which one is more valuable or not.
Exactly.
How do you want to capitalize on this, and how fast can you actually respond to this demand? So is that going to be a curriculum on itself in terms of faster delivery?
Right.
Boleh jadi to get minta maaf lah, to get a PhD will take only 6 months.
With the AI, you can just ask them to produce the thesis for you.
But again, but I'm not in favor of this or that. Tapi punya ialah this has changed the whole structure of structure in the university and the relationship to the industry. Take advantage of all this, and I think again, I'm laser focused on how university should be able to attract more industries to come.
Okay, so I reiterate back, of course, the stronger industrial linkages, and that relates to the faculty and also people who are in charge of the industry linkage. And whatever success stories, definitely we have to make it known and to focus, whether we want to focus on process or outcome, and then use whatever tools. This is the thing that I always tell the students or anyone as well. When we have the tools, we have to capitalize the tools, not reinvent them and whatnot. Use the existing ones so that you can move even faster. Now, we have come towards the end, all right, of the particular session. I would definitely like to thank both panelists today with your insights. Now, if I can just a concluding, before we close, would there be any key takeaways that both of you wants to highlight? all right, to the university's people so that they can carry something forward, based on this particular discussion. Dr. Khalid, anything from you?
Okay, if I want to give some context here, university is responsibility, university building the nation is very big.
Right.
Because you are very, what do you call it, fundamental in terms of nation building, right? So just to give context, for example, SPM leavers Malaysia every year, what, 450,000 students?
Yeah.
And then whoever enter the universities are only what, 220,000? So we're talking about more than 50% left out or decided not to pursue tertiary education, right?
Yeah.
And just to give context, even government wants to do STEM, the semiconductors. From 220,000, the graduates of engineering is only what, 11,000 or 12,000. Somebody have to fact check me every year, right? But the government needs 60,000 engineers by 2030, which is 4 years from now, right? So you're looking at what, 12,000 every year, new graduates of engineers. For the next 3-4 years, we only have what, 40,000 something.
Yeah.
So that's the reason even government say we have to import engineers from outside. So this is how, I don't know, these universities need to think about how you need to attract more rather than that. I'm talking about the very generic in terms of nation building. Industry, I think we probably touched a bit about it. Because industry, for example, I worked with Semicon before, and I understand the needs of getting those right talents. People have the right mindset.
Right.
So university can play a large. You already done a bigger role, but have this thing consider how even to attract the 200,000 that decided not to pursue the tertiary education.
Okay.
Any micro credential that university can be done, so that they can do, I don't know, by this micro credential they can do shallow tech program like developing the apps. So this is something, some takeaway that I think university can play a big role on we call it as a catalyst for nation development.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Khalid. Tuan Zaki, one last
Yeah.
note.
To be contributing to the growth of the economy definitely has to have some commercial data.
All right.
Has to have some commercial elements. So universities need to strengthen the ability to collect and to analyze the commercial data that it has. And we have, for example, from China, whereas technology partners coming in and they come in with data and even IRR of a project very quickly without being in the country.
Right.
So that's to me a threat, where basically you don't need to be in Malaysia to be able to assess what are the opportunities in Malaysia.
Right.
So takutnya the value chain moves up of the country. I think we have to be careful with that. We got no time but to help each other. Industry should be able to help, and at the same time, you have to make yourself attractive, and we'll have to get to that point.
All right. Thank you so much, Tuan Zaki. So to the audience today, I do hope that you got something, out of this particular talk. But we see that the universities actually can become the catalyst, and definitely we are the catalyst of national development, like it or not. Yeah. And then we've touched upon how the universities should look into the leadership, the relationship, the expectations from the industry, and how can we go about it not only in terms of our remuneration. All that is an ecosystem in order for us to become the catalyst of national development. So I do hope the audience out there will be able to get some good takeaways, right? And I would like to thank both panelists for your time today, to be with us. And I'll return back the session to Ms. Mas. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Yazrina. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of our session. That concludes our webinar for today. A huge thank you once again to our wonderful moderator, Professor Madya, Dr. Yazrina Yahya, and our incredible panelists, Encik Zaki Abdul Azizi, Daud, and technologist Dr. Ahmad Khalid for such a valuable exchange of ideas. So to conclude today's discussion, let us embrace the spirit of the Malaysia Higher Education Plan RPTM 2026-2035. Our goal is to build an education system that is globally competitive and capable of producing future-ready talent to strengthen our national resilience. Together, we can ensure that our universities continue to be the primary engines for Malaysia's economic and industrial growth. Once again, thank you to everyone involved, especially to Akept and UKM, and to all of you, our participants, for sharing your time with us today. Before you leave, please fill out the program evaluation form via the link provided in the chat. Okay, so we look forward to seeing you again in Series 2 next month. Thank you, stay safe, and have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Tuan Zaki and Dr. Khalid, sekejap kita ambil gambar. Ada sama boleh ambil gambar tak dengan skrip? Nanti tutup.